Nithyanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gaganasatrusham Tattvamasyaadilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachanam Sarvadi Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Satgurum Tam Namami. Nithyanandam. Resume. Okay, so if you see Swamiji's face, there is a central line, if you can imagine. Then the line is going from the nose tip and through the lips and through the chin, right? So when we did Lumi's method, if you remember, we did something like let me try to take another page. Okay, so when we did Lumi's method, if you remember, we did something like this, and we had a circle, and we always used to split that circle, right? And then along the circle we will have the nose, and we will have the crease of the lips. Okay, so if you try to move the crease a little bit on the right side, then some of the features may not look exactly like same. Okay, so next time, once we are doing the grid method, also keep the rules of parallels and whatever we have learned before, right? The way the eyeballs are, the way the lips are placed. So those things, if you take care, then I think it will improve. Okay, but it's good. I mean, since it's a first drawing, so it's come out good only. So you can continue to shade on this, and then we'll do one more during after this class. Okay, so Gyaneshwaraya, yours also looks great. For you, the eyes have become very big. Okay, so the eyes, if you see, Swamiji's eyes are like very small in the photo. And if you like, I have removed the grid line, but just from below the grid line, there is a gap here. And then the eyes start, and it ends very quickly. But you have started from the grid line and taken it like way down. Okay, so because of that, like Swamiji is like, eyes have become little big, and lips are fine. And for teeth also, I've observed like the central lines, don't do it initially. Okay, because once you do, it starts looking like the teeth starts popping out very I mean, in a very big way. So I think initially you can just do the creases and like light shades in the lips, so that there is some light tone. Okay, and then other than that, it looks good. The other features have come out proper only. Nose can also be like little bit down. So if you see, it's like little bit down from the grid. Yours is like little bit towards the grid. So the more grid photos you do now, the more you will the accuracies will come. And Govarma, for you also, I think the eyes can be little small, ma. So next time, once you redo this one, after this, I'll propose that you redo the whole sketch on your own. Okay, so I'll share the sketch, I'll share the photos, and I'll share the different reference material today. So as a homework, you can redo some of the things on your own, then you will see the difference. Okay, so the eyes can be little small, the lips can start little bit downward. So it's like not on the edge of the grid, it is little bit towards the lower half and little tilted, right? And then it's going little below the lower grid. So that is there, because if this distance and this distance is increased, then the jaw becomes a little big, right, on one side. So these small things and features are very important one. Okay, then I think it looks good. But for eyebrow, you see, ma, eyebrow, one eyebrow we did tilted, and so basically you started on the right place, but when you ended, it became too much slant, so it has to like come in a curve, and always the rule of parallel has to be honored. So if you see, there is a line, like the top of the eyebrows are always in some parallel line, the top of the eyes are always in the parallel line, because our faces, and specifically Swamiji's face, is very symmetric. Okay, so these are just improvement feedbacks where we can all improve. But overall, like for the first time, everyone has done a great job actually. Okay, Liz. Liz, I have uploaded the video. Can you do once along with the video? And I think the video should be there on YouTube by now. I've shared it yesterday night. So if you can do it once along with the video, I think it will help. The grids have come properly, but if you see the jaws, right, you have come along with the line itself. The jaws have to turn, right? It has to turn, otherwise Swamiji's face will become very squarish. Okay, so the jaws have to turn, and I think the chin has to be bigger. Also, the lips have to be little thin. So just do along with Swamiji's, like the video I have shared once more. Then I think it will be coming out well. Okay, Jayanti Ma has also shared. Nice, Ma. Okay, great. So eyebrows are looking good. Eyes are looking also fine. I think for the nose, you have created a curve here. Okay, this curve you can erase, Ma, because I think what we will do is we will maybe shade it, or I mean, no need to erase, but let it not be evident here because it will make the nose little bit look uh, little bit turned. Okay,
Okay.
and the lips also, maybe once you do the next one, if you see, your lips are like very parallel to the below line, but it's there is a slight tilt in the lips. Okay, because our whole sketch, if you see this, the eye line is like this, the lip line is also like this. Okay, the nose is also like this. So there is a slight, very slight tilt than this line. So if you observe this line and this line, they're meeting at the point, right? So slight tilt will be good. So for you, see if this lips have almost become parallel, right? So the rest of the features will be tilted, and if this becomes parallel, then there will be a different kind of effect that will come. Yeah. But overall, it has come nicely only. I think neck, you need to do the neck and the rudrakshas and other things. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Looks great. Okay, so I will also share. Okay, maybe after this class, I will share the picture of this, whatever I have drawn, and then I would request everyone to do once more. It will help you improve. Okay. Now, next step is in my mobile itself. If you see, I have done a very high contrast for the image. Okay, so the initial image was less contrast. What I did was I went to the edit mode. Like you can use it in any photo editing app. You can change the brightness. You can reduce the brightness so that there may be a glare because I'm showing you on the phone, but you can reduce the brightness. So now you see, once I reduce the brightness, these features, the highlights and other things have started to pop out, right? So once you're beginning to draw, if you have like a very bright, like a flat kind of a drawing, everything looks highlighted, right? So you don't know where to put shade, where to put light, right? So try to reduce the brightness and maybe increase the contrast. So that way you will be able to observe the features more clearly, right? And uh, if you are drawing from the color drawing, so you can use directly the color drawing. But I also showed an app called sketch drawing last time. So I have created one more picture with that. So this has created a rough sketch of shade and highlight for Swamiji. So you can take support of either this picture, or you can take support of this picture, and eventually draw. So the goal should be that incrementally you should stop using this shade, and you should directly start using the colored picture for your shading. Okay, so that the time reduced in overall creation is less. So ideally grid creation should say take 15 to 20 minutes maximum, and shading should take another 20 to 30 minutes, and 40-45 minutes to 1 hour you should be able to finish one portrait. Okay, and also last time I missed some comments. So some people were saying that they don't have A4 paper, they have A5 paper, or you may have A3 paper. So all that does not matter as long as your grid size are proper. Like if you have proper squares, and you have the squares on your photo, you will the paper size does not matter. Okay, so next step is I am going to erase the grids now. Okay, assuming that everyone's grid is over, I use this pencil, the eraser pencil. You can use the edge of your eraser. Let me just have a look where my eraser is. You can also use the edge of the eraser, but the important point to note here is, please don't like vigorously erase. Okay, so don't like just go vigorously and across the page, because the paper has tooth in it. Okay, so once we erase, the tooth of the paper, they get destroyed. And once you destroy the tooth of the paper, it can take less number of layers. The shading layers will be less. Okay, so you should try to use eraser as less as possible in as less area as possible. And if you draw these lines very dark, right, the grid lines, if they are very dark, then if you try to erase it very hard, then what happens is it will leave a kind of a dent in the page, and if you shade on top of it, you will have a different kind of line coming in your shading. Okay, so all these things are important. So please don't draw grid lines very dark. So now let's erase the grid lines one by one. So I'm roughly erasing, and please take care that your features are intact. Okay, so your features should not be disturbed. So line by line I'm erasing. In turban, if there are lines, it's okay. In turban, if there are some lines left, because anyhow the turban is going to be dark, so you don't need to worry much about the darker areas, but the lighter areas of the face, at least erase the grids. Okay, I'm purposefully leaving grids on the outside just to show the construction lines which we had drawn. But on the insides of the face, I am just erasing everything. More or less, it looks fine to me. I'll leave the grids on the outside. Please let me know with a thumbs up once you're done.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Is this a photo from one of the apps you sent us already?
Yes. Yes. So it's sketch camera. So while others are drawing, maybe let me quickly show it to you. Yeah, here this is the app called Sketch Camera. I go to the gallery and I go to export and I select the Swamiji's picture, and then I have chosen pencil 2. You can choose any other effect also. See, all these are not mandatory again. I have just taken help of this so that people who are new, especially the kids, they don't feel overwhelmed seeing the photo. So they have some reference point. Yeah. Are you showing something here?
Yeah, is this the one? The first
Yeah,
one
the
or
first
second?
one. Yes, the first one. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so as a next step, we are going to begin the shading. So I will use the reference image, this as a reference image to make it easy. So if you observe, there is Swamiji's cheekbones are positioned somewhat here. So they are on the left side, this is here, on the right side, it is here. So because the light is falling from an angle, the cheekbones are getting a highlight. Okay, so if you see this area and this area is clear highlight and a white space. Okay, so what you can do is even when you observe a colored photo, you see where, like if you slightly close your eyes, you will see this areas are dark. There is a slight highlight here, there's a highlight here, then there is a highlight in the neck on this side and this side, then below the lips there are highlight areas, and rest of the areas are shaded dark, right? And here you have the crease of the cheek. So here there is a dark shadow here, like dark brownish shadow if you do it in color. Okay, and then the eyes are in a depth. So wherever, whatever features are in depth, those areas will be dark, right? So hairs are dark, the depths of the turban are dark, right? And the jewelry depths are also dark. So if you see this area, the edge of the neck, below the turban, the wedges of the turban, these are maximum dark areas. So this is, here we are going to put the maximum black color. And then the eyebrows and the eyes and the insides of the lips also, there is a dark color here, and in the ear. So all these are like maximum dark. So what we will do is we'll do those areas dark, and then like those areas should be darkest, and then relative to that the nearby area should be lighter. Okay, that is how your brain should judge. uh, and then initially what you can do is you can create a rough light shape on the highlight areas also. So something like this. So I'll just create a very light shape so that while I'm shading, I know this need not be done every time, and don't create very dark lines, because then it will make the whole sketch look very odd. So just very light lines to create the highlight, something like this. Is it clear? Okay, I'll switch back to the other photo. We will start with the eyes first. So from the eyebrow, I'm just taking the 6B pencil and very lightly, don't do dark now, very lightly start shading the from the eyebrow, the inside areas. Okay.
Aya, could you share these two photos on the WhatsApp?
Right away? Yeah, I'll do. Done. Okay, I will resume. So just draw very light shades on the insides of the eye. Leave a little white space below the eye. Okay, and then draw dark spaces here towards the end of the eye. So if you see, the eye is bulging, right? Our eyelid has a sphere underneath it. So there will be always a highlight on one side of the eye. So this highlight, you leave it here and then draw the other things. And Swamiji's eyebrow has a slight highlight here also. There's maybe due to a cut, right? So all the drawings has this highlight here. And then for the eyebrow, you can go in the direction of the hair. So you don't need to, follow exact light, dark and light. So you can just create small hairs here. It will give it a good kind of a look. Okay. So eyebrows, you can do maximum dark because eyebrows are like black. Okay, same way I will do the eyebrow on the other side. So I will kind of create some hairy texture here. And if you see towards the end, there is the head is turning here, right? So the temple is here, so it will basically go down. And then do the insides of the right eye also. So you can use the sides of the pencil, or you can use strokes like this, like how we did the gradient. You can do linear strokes. Okay, small linear strokes, put the strokes close together. And then towards the edge of the eye, again do the dark shades. And light shades. And see, there is below the eye, there is a small line which is white. Okay, so just take care to leave that line. Okay, and then there is a crease. So lower eyelid, there is a crease here. And below that, again, there is a shade. So just try to follow the shade patterns in the photograph which I have shared. Okay. So I'll finish the left eye also a bit, and then I will wait for 2 more minutes. Okay, so this is how you can do. Just put the lighter shades first. Let me know with the thumbs up once you're ready. Okay, next I will do the eyes. So the eyes top lid is very dark. Okay, so I'm doing the eyes now. The top lid is very dark. And the bottom lid is also a thick line. Okay. See, although in the black and white sketch, the highlight on the eye, the 2 dots which we generally have is not visible. Only on this eyelid, little bit highlight is visible. Here, the highlight is not visible. This is the eyeball. But if you see the colored picture, you can see that there are like 2 very light, faint dots here. I mean, I don't know if I'm able to show it in the camera, but if you see, there are 2 very light dots here, right? One here and one here. Similarly, on the other eye also, there will be two light dots. Okay, so just leave some space in the eyeball for some light so that it doesn't like look exactly black and there is some realism in the eyes. Okay, just put two white spaces here and then go on and lightly shade the eyeballs. First do a light shade and then do a dark on the top. Okay, and then I will do the top crease of the upper eyelid. Inside this also there is a light shade here, so I'll do a shade on the insides. Okay, same way I will do on the right side. Finish the right side and then I will wait. Okay. The benefit of drawing the eyes first is you get to know what is the maximum dark value your pencil can produce, and then based on that you can see the relative values for rest of the nearby features. Okay, and then I'm going in very dark with the tilaka. So even tilaka, you can have cross strokes, something like this. Or you can have your own strokes also if you want, like you can have circular strokes, but idea is to fill the space evenly. Okay. Okay, and next I'm going to do a very light shade on the left cheek. So if you see there is a light shade here, and I'm going to go in cross strokes here from the sides of the pencil Okay, so now beyond this point, there's no specific instruction. So just try to observe light and shade and just try to bring in the values. Okay, and then towards the lower end of the cheek, if you observe, there is a very dark shade here, right? On towards the lower side of the cheek, because the neck is in a shadow area. So if you do a dark shade here, little bit darker, put more, slightly more pressure, then this will define the chin and the lower jaw. Okay. So if you see, I'm not putting any hard lines. Okay. So there is a gradient coming, there is a shade coming, and then I'm just switching into a darker value. Okay. So just put a lighter shade first and then a darker shade. Okay, and while I'm turning on the neck, I'm just changing the direction of my strokes, because here, if you see, there is a Adam's apple right here. So basically, you will have some spherical kind of a shape here, and then the throat goes on this direction, right? So I'm just changing, I'm using my stroke direction to define the direction of the, it's kind of a cylindrical neck, right? So to define the direction of the cylinder. So if I do all flat strokes, then maybe it may not look, cylindrical. So I'm just changing slightly the direction of the strokes. In fact, if you observe in the picture here also, the stroke direction is visible in this pencil sketch picture. So here it is coming like this, here it is flatter, and here it is downwards. Okay. Okay, I'll wait for a couple of minutes. Okay, so now we'll again move on the right side. So, or towards this side, there is a crease here, and there's a very evident dark shade. So I will just create this dark region here. Similarly, I'll create similar values on the other side of the crease. Okay, and I'll do a very light shade here to begin with. So here on the right side, it should come and merge with the lower jaw, because if you see, there is no clear distinction because of the muscles in this group. So okay, and I'm just trying to get the darker values. Please let me know if you have any questions or if you're stuck anywhere. Please feel free to ask now. I'm just proceeding with the sketch. Okay, in the camera, it may look one shade lighter. So you have the photo also with you, so you can take that as a reference. Now I'll go and do the upper lip. So if you observe here, it's very dark, but very thin. Okay, don't make it very thick, and you can have something like vertical strokes here. Okay, and now if you see here, just observe the shape of the teeth. Okay, this is very important, the teeth shape. So just observe that. Okay, so here below, I think there is a wedge. So first it is starting from here, so you can define the outline first. Okay, and then there is a turn here, then there is another wedge here, then the central teeth come in. Okay, and then there's this one goes in, and then this one goes in again. Then there is a canine teeth here, molar teeth here, and then that's it. Okay, so I have not, if you see, I have not gone to put the inside details. We'll do it later once we finish. But the edges, since they are in darkness, they are in maximum darkness, you can create the darker values first. Okay, and then coming from the lips down, create very light values. Okay, something like this. Okay, same way the top lip lower edge, if you shade from the sides of the pencil, right, there'll be one point which will become like very dark. Oh, sorry, one point which will be very pointed. The tip of the pencil will become very pointed. The sides will be flat, the tip will be very pointed. So use this tip to create the edges. So right now I am just defining the edge of the upper lip. Okay, and then creating a dark area here, creating Swamiji's smile. Okay, and then I'm going to do the lower portion of the nose. So the nostrils here are generally, if since Swamiji's has a little flatter nose in front, so you'll not see the nostrils. But if you do a portrait where the nose is a little bit lifted, then you'll see the nostrils. But below the nose, there will always be a shadow. Okay, so below the nose, I'm doing light shadows. Leaving a white, thin white line above the lips. Okay, so now you see the face will start looking little bit 3D-ish. Okay, but still there are some flatter values. So for example, this cheek, if you see the color photo, okay, if you see there is like a round kind of a bulge and there is slight highlight here. But for us, we have like given a very flat tone, right? So it will not make it look like a 3D one. So maybe I will just create some more darker values, go one more round above this, okay, and create kind of a spherical kind of a shape here. Okay, so now if you see there is slight highlight here and there's darkness all around it. Okay, and also you don't want to leave the white areas like as is, because like not always 100% white. Okay, so I'll give a very light gray tone here, very light, which is like blending from the adjacent areas. Okay, very light gray tone, which is like it should come like a gradient. Okay, so here if you have dark shades, the dark shade should eventually fade into the light ones, something like this. Okay, and this area will be little more darker. So you see everything is like relative value. It's not like one absolute shade like absolute white, absolute black, or absolute gray. It's all relative. So if I make this as gray, then I have to make this much little bit more darker, more blacker. Okay, same thing I will do on the other side. Okay, and for the nose, if you see, there is like if you watch this photo, okay, there is a shade, like light shade on the edge, and then there is a highlight here and there is a highlight here. Okay, so the more closely you observe, the more you will get to know. So if I leave it like white, it doesn't look good, right? It's looking very odd and very flat, right? So now I will just try to observe the shades on the nose. So I see a shade here on the edge, this edge. Okay, and then I see a very light shade here, and the outsides of the nostrils are dark. Okay, and then I see a shade here. So this is purely on observation. The more closely you observe the photo, which is eventually a murti for all of us. So okay, and then I will go in with some more darker shades on the mustaches. So if you see there are like fine hairs, you can also do like fine hairs here. Okay, so if you are able to see some fine hairs on the mustache, it's okay, but don't like overdo it, otherwise it will start looking odd. Okay, if you are not sure or not confident on how to do it, then maybe you can just leave a light shade and that's fine. Okay, okay, now there is a white vibhuti here, right? So how do we highlight the vibhuti? Because if we leave everything white, then it doesn't appear good. So whenever there is a white space, the adjacent space you see are darker ones, right? So even the vibhuti, there is a shadow of turban which is falling on it. It's not like complete white. Okay, there is a shadow of turban falling on it. So just make a very light tone here. Okay, and then below the vibhuti also just do light gray tone so that the vibhuti pops out. So if you see here carefully, you see there are like edges visible, right? So just do very light tones around the tilaka and the vibhuti. Can quickly below the lip also I'll finish. We have, I think, 3 more minutes. Quickly below the lips I'll finish. At least the face should start taking definition now. Okay, so I'll put in the darker areas first and then put in the lighter areas. Okay, so now whenever you are doing shading, right, if you observe, now my hands have started to become little black, right? Because now I'm again and again rubbing across the graphite. So to avoid that, maybe you can keep a small white paper or something. So I'll just keep a white paper and then on top of it, I'll keep my hand and then do the shading. Okay, so that way it will help not the graphite to smudge, because graphite is very volatile, so it will smudge. Especially with graphite and charcoal, you need to take care of this. Otherwise, it will start making the drawing look uglier. Okay, so since it is our first time, I'm doing it very slow, but ideally the shading can be done very fast. Okay, so once you are confident of the strokes, you just observe the light and shades and just start putting in the values. That's it. It's very simple. Okay, so right now if I'm seeing this on the camera, I'm seeing a very thick line here, which is very defined line. So I will try to blur it maybe in the next class. Okay, so this is how it is looking as on today. We'll work on this more in the next class. Okay, we'll take a quick picture. And how many students are there today? The Purna Mantra. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Hari Om Tat Sat Sarvam Sadguru Padukarpanamastu Om Nithyanandam. Nithyanandam everyone. I'm here for one